Welcome to Behind Enemy Lines. I guess it's better late than never. We were having some technical difficulties before we could get started, but thank you for joining us here tonight. I'm Michael Lauber, and today I'm joined by Noah Herod from Roman Strategies. How you doing this evening, Noah?
I'm doing good. It's another great day in Florida. Nice weather. Had some good food around some friends, and it's just a great day to be an American as well. So thanks for having me on, guys.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you for being here. And Terry will be back with us again on Thursday. He had some things to take care of, so we're sitting in here tonight. And man, we got a lot to discuss as always. So let's just jump right into it. Because before we get into our main topics tonight, and that is the deep state's still clearly entrenched in D.C., we're going to go over to redistricting first. So, well, as usual, Republicans cannot get out of their own way. I don't understand how we have this many rhinos at the state and at the federal level. But breaking news, here are the 5 South Carolina Senate rhinos who voted to block redistricting. Again, we could have picked up at least one more seat. I think it was 2 more in South Carolina by getting rid of these race-based gerrymandered districts that we've had shoved down our throats for 60 years. But Sean Bennett, Chip Campson, Tom Davis, Greg Hembry, and Shane Massey don't want to let that happen. So they voted with the Democrats to block the redistricting effort there. And I suppose, so the way this Supreme Court decision was written, that if you are in one of these districts that's still harmed by one of these VRA districts, that you as an individual can sue. So if you're watching right now and you're in one of these gerrymandered race-based districts in South Carolina, you need to contact, Judicial Watch. I know Tom Fitton's talked about helping people file some of these suits. There's some other, I think Landmark Legal. I'm not sure who else has been involved with it or said that they're going to be involved with it. But you as an individual can sue and demand your state be in compliance with the U.S. Supreme Court, and your state's AG is not allowed to argue against you. So there are still options on the table. But again, if you guys have all these weak-kneed, yellow-bellied, pickle-kissing rhinos in your district or in your state, it's time to take it to them. Demand that they redistrict, that they remove these seats so that we can take them. We're going to need all the help we can get to get through these midterms, and it's mostly due to Congress's inaction and the DOJ's apparent inability to arrest anybody. Let's not even talk Epstein files yet. But it's going to be up to you to do what we need to do, because your leadership, they don't care. They would rather go back to their cocktail parties. They're more concerned about the New York Times will write mean things about them, call them racist. So they're just going to give this one to the Democrats, let them keep their seats. And we need fighters that will actually go out there, take it to them, and at least try to win. This is completely unacceptable. It's such a disappointment there, South Carolina.
Absolutely, I agree. And being so close to South Carolina and Florida, you'd think we'd have a little fight back. And Florida, we are playing chess right now. We just got a couple of seats we're winning, and we're going to continue to win here. We need to do it all across the board, though. And it's the Democrats' oldest playbook. Go target the minorities, or a larger population of them are minorities in bigger cities, and try to redistrict it so that they can keep their seats and keep winning and keep abusing the black people and keep abusing minorities. That's how they get votes. They say, "We'll buy your vote. See you in 4 years," and people are getting tired of it.
Yeah. I mean, the real irony here is these VRA districts were created to protect blacks from the Democrats, who were still, enforcing these Jim Crow laws, trying to reinstitute poll tax, other things, prevent them from voting. It's why we had to have the 64 Civil Rights Amendment, and then the 65 Voting Rights, and then the 65 Voting Rights Act. I think I misspoke a second ago. It's the Civil Rights Act, not amendment. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that's the irony here. And again, this is totally lost on the dinosaur media. None of them are mentioning that. They're also ignoring the fact that they keep bringing up Texas successfully redistricting there, not to mention Florida. Texas, it would have happened in 2021. They submitted a map to redistrict, and Biden's DOJ sued them and prevented them from moving forward with that map. Or this would all have been done years ago. But again, they're leaving that piece of information out so that they can, again, spin it to their audience it's just the mean, horrible Republicans that want to take away representation from blacks, right before they put them back in chains. But again, that's for nothing could be further from the truth. Again, this all had to be instituted because of the Democrats in the South. They are the party of the KKK. That is the terrorist wing of the Democrat Party. It has been since 1865, and it's just continued that way. Not to mention, we'll get to the SPLC later, but they're still the ones funding the hate. They're still the ones funding the Ku Klux Klan and everybody else, largely. Not that they even really exist in mass anymore unless they're propped up by the SPLC, but that's because they need this narrative. It has to live forever. Otherwise, they will begin losing their base because they have nothing to offer the American people anymore. And everybody knows it. But again, we have Republicans like this that fail us all the time. I just don't understand it, how you can intentionally take this many L's and still consider yourself a Republican of some
part of it's our fault for not fighting back. And you got to remember the
Yeah.
Democratic Party, it's always their go-to. They have to have victims to get votes. They have to tell them the Republicans are the reason for this. Meanwhile, look at Jim Crow. Look at who started the KKK. Look who fought to keep slaves. This big thing that there was a big switch, it never happened. And now you look at all these Democratic-run cities: Chicago, New York, Massachusetts, where the crime is just rampant and high. It's all Democratic ran. It is not.
Yep.
It's not a hard thing to see pattern recognition. Anywhere Democratic ran is a heck hole.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much goes without saying anymore, that they're more concerned about protecting criminals, whether it's illegal aliens or murderers, than they are actually protecting their own citizens. But I also think that's part of the game. This is, they want people scared. They want people running to their leadership for help, which they don't really provide. It's basically hostage taking. It's the same thing they tried to do with federal workers at DHS when they couldn't get their way with the spending bill. They don't care. They will keep those type of situations going. But again, that's not even what it's about now.
I think it's time for us to get our hands a little dirty too and start. They have no problem playing dirty. I mean, look what they're doing. DEI was terrible. DEI was horrible. And instead of getting rid of it, they played a game, deception tactic. They just changed the name, and we're still instituting it. So we got to help ourselves too. It's not all the Democrats fault. It's like we have to start going on the offensive. And if we don't go on the offensive, we're going to get the same result, and we're going to be upset about the same things.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's mostly Republicans' fault at this point that they're refusing to act. I mean, every one of these states that has a VRA district in it right now, they should be running to the legislature and getting rid of it, especially all the red states where we already have control. There's no excuse there. This goes up to states like Ohio right now. Like, DeWine's not going to get off his fat ass and do anything about it here. I know that Harmeet Dillon has talked about filing lawsuits to get rid of New Jersey's two race-based VRA districts. But there's numerous other states too that same thing. You guys should be doing this all across the South. Almost every state in the Southeast, you could pick up at least one representative if you would just be compliant with the Supreme Court. And again, this isn't anything new. I know the Democrats are whining, crying, and screaming about it right now, but they've already determined. Again, you can't make districts based on race. They have to be geographic. They can't be based on a demographic. And again, you've already been given the tools, so use them. We have plenty of time before the next election if you guys act now. But if you wait 3 months and sit there with your thumb up your ass and don't do anything, then the Democrats may have a case. And not to mention, everybody's running for office. If they've already spent a bunch of money in a district and then you redraw the map, they have a legitimate grievance, and they're probably going to be able to find federal judges then to stall it out, because we already know how that goes. But if you act now, you can't have that excuse. Yeah, lawfare is all they got, and that's, again, this is another failing of the Republicans in the House. They can impeach every one of these radical judges. There's 300 of them that keep filing these lawsuits against the Trump administration for whether it's ICE or DOJ or whatever else, not to mention all the other insane lawsuits where they're overstepping their jurisdiction. You guys can impeach every last one of them, but you don't.
Yep. And they want to cry about, a king and say he's a king. Well, this king can't even build a ballroom that he's paying for out of his own pocket. He doesn't take any of his presidential salary. It's little games, and I think people are waking up more in the cities now and seeing the games they're playing. But like you said, if we want to win the midterms, we're gonna have to do what Florida did, and you kind of copy and paste that across the country. Otherwise, if we lose the House or we lose the Senate, what, wait till 2028 again for things to get worse? And then it's just a continuous cycle. No, we have our foot on their throat and we need to stop.
Well, we should be miles ahead right now, but again, inaction at the DOJ, inaction from the House. This is what's killing us. The voters are sick and tired of it. They are tired of watching Todd Blanche go to the microphone and say, Epstein didn't commit any crimes. There's nothing to prosecute here. They're tired of having it drug out every couple of weeks. Oh, we're going to indict John Brennan. They've said that 9 times now. It still hasn't happened. Put up or shut up. Ilhan Omar married her brother, stole millions of dollars, blah, blah, blah. I don't see any arrest warrants yet. I don't see any indictments. If you guys keep telling us about stuff and writing strongly worded fundraising letters, but never do anything about it, the voters are just going to sit home. Why should they vote for you losers that can't accomplish anything? Now, that isn't every rep in Congress, but it's a lot of them. And again, these primaries, we should be gunning for every one of these people right now. Instead, we're misdirected, focusing on going after people like Thomas Massie, the wrong ones. Again, Massie and Trump got into a fight, but hey, Massie's right. Massie says, yeah, hey, we need to release these documents. We need to release everything. Like remember, Trump did sign it into law to release all the Epstein documents and then didn't do it. There's still 3.2 million sitting there, not to mention 10,000 videos or 10,000 hours of video. So he's right. Don't pretend he's the problem. Not to mention, again, prosecutions, that's the main thing. People don't just want the documents released. They want the perpetrators to pay for it. Not to mention all the deep state insiders, because we're going to get to that. It's our next main topic. But here, I got another one for you guys. Before we get to that, there's a few more things to discuss with redistricting. Fifth Circuit unanimously vacates race-based redistricting order. Mississippi no longer forced to draw woke majority black Supreme Court districts. So again, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, you have a few states that are doing the right thing, that are going to eliminate these VRA districts, and these are pickups. And again, we need all the help we can get right now, and it's not because the Democrats are doing so good, it's because the Republicans are just trash. Right now, I believe we're at 12 seats that we picked up in redistricting. Excuse me, between Florida, Texas, and the other states that are in process or already in compliance here. But where are the rest of you guys? Georgia, North and South Carolina, North Carolina, Kentucky. There are a ton of states that we still need to move, still need to take action on this. There's also states like Utah that dropped the ball. And as we learned earlier this week, or was it last week, one of their Supreme Court justices that struck down their redistricting map, she was having an affair with the one of the Democrat attorneys that were arguing against it. So guys, get your shit together. And same thing, Utah, pick it up, and let's get those 2 seats across the finish line.
Absolutely. And we got to do this across the map, because I'm telling you right now, the Democrats are doing it across the map, and they are coming for blood. They're very angry. Not in a million years did they think they would see a second Trump administration after the 2020 election. Didn't think it would happen. So we need to stop reaching across the aisle and working with these people. They hate us. They can't be partisan. They've proven they can't be partisan. And we need to do it across the board in every state, and we need to gerrymander every single seat we can. They do it. Why don't we do it? It's simple.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's nothing new. The Democrats have been doing this for over 30 years. That's why in the whole Northeast corridor, there's only like 3 Republicans. I mean, I guess it's a little more than that, but you have tons of states where you might have 48% of voters registered as Republicans, but then they have 1% in Congress or 0 representation throughout the whole state. And that's because the Democrats, when you give them power, they will use it to the max. They will put every advantage in for themselves. They will disadvantage their opponents. They will push the legislation through that they want. Maybe not necessarily that their voters want either with a lot of this stuff, but they will move their agenda forward no matter what. And their little mind-numb robot sponge voters will continue to vote for them no matter how much harm it does to them personally or financially or anything else. No matter how many of their kids get trans and hang themselves in a closet, they will still go out and vote for Democrats. And again, this doesn't excuse what happens from Republicans. They're just so weak. But we have to actually fight. Yeah,
we're
have
so
to fight
compliant.
to win.
I mean, look, and with these midterms coming up, I think a lot of Republicans get compliant and complacent in the fact, oh, we won the presidency, we got Trump back, we got the House, we got the Senate. They don't realize we just lost seats all over the country. We lost in Miami, Florida. that mayor of there was a Republican mayor for the last 50 years in Miami. We lost that. We lost the mayor of Boca Raton. We lost seats in Louisiana. We lost seats in Texas. It's not looking good. It's now or never. It's do or die.
Oh, exactly. We have a limited window to act, or we will lose these midterms, because every seat right now that we won in the last cycle by anywhere from like a 1 to 3% margin, I would say all of those are in jeopardy right now. Maybe not all of them, but the majority of them are, because we have a real turnout problem. And that's because a lot of voters on the right in the coalition that put Trump in office are very unhappy with things right now. And a lot of them, it's not that they're going to go out and vote for Democrats like Nick Fuentes and some of these other people are saying. They're just going to stay home. And anything that was a close margin, we know the Democrats will go out there and vote no matter what. They've got their rabid base is so fired up, they will show up at the polls. But if you don't do something to inspire the voters, we're going to continue to have these kind of problems. I'm looking at you, Illinois. You had almost a 33% drop in voter turnout from this primary to your last gubernatorial primary. And that isn't just because so many people have fled the state. That's because a lot of voters are just unhappy. Why go out
Yep.
there? Why make any effort if so many people in Congress refuse to deliver? Or if the
Yep.
DOJ just cannot do its job and actually be a Department of Justice
And
cleaning out these scumbags?
a big problem is Republicans make it easy on Democrats. How should they're not even worried about fighting us half the time when we're too busy fighting ourselves. The Republican Party in some states has become so tribal and so snobby that it pushes people away. We're losing moderates. Losing people that were libertarians, and Trump did a really good job of bringing people, libertarians and moderates, that JFK style Democrats, and
Yep.
we had a really good base, and we're losing it because we can't stop fighting each other. We look like two spoiled rotten kids fighting.
Well, don't even know that it's so much fighting each other as just doing the things that they promised to do before, doing the right thing. The Maha movement was another key part of Trump's coalition, but they get very upset when you protect glyphosate. I can never say it quite right, but this and protecting them from liability, just like with the vaccine manufacturers, pulling the plug on eliminating it from our food instead of declaring it that it is essential and propping them up. These are things that are headed in the wrong direction. Everybody knows it. And you're not supposed to talk about it, or somehow you're a panicking or you're black pilling people or whatever. But we've
Yeah.
got to deal with these realities. We've got to get these things turned around and fixed, get us back on the right path, or we are going to be screwed.
People
We
want
may get,
results. I mean, that's what they voted for. We waited 4 years under a Biden administration
yeah,
that just ran the country into the ground after we had one of the best economies and best, America was back to its golden age almost. And then we lost it for 4 years. We get it back. Don't ruin it. We got to start taking action. And I know Trump can't fix 50 years of corruption in one night. I know nothing's going
yeah.
to be perfect, but we need to take action. There's fraud. There's proof of fraud from the Democratic Party. There's proof of them trying to steal the 2020 election. We have to do something about it. If we don't do something about it now, nobody's ever going to vote or trust that something will be done again. There were kids getting, God knows what happened to them on that island. It was terrible. That's what we do know. And there's no arrests. That's absolutely insane.
Exactly. And we're running out of time to change it. Well, the Democrats may be evil, but they're also borderline retarded. Mockery ensues after disgraced Virginia Attorney General makes this embarrassing mistake while begging the U.S. Supreme Court to reinstitute the Democrats' rigged map. Well, apparently, Jay Jones must have attended one of the Somalian Leering centers, because he had numerous misspelled words in their court documents he just filed, which, by the way, he sent to the wrong court. He meant to send them to the U.S. Supreme Court. For some reason, he sent them to the Supreme Court in Virginia that just shot them down. But I guess somebody needs to go. Hooked on Phonics didn't work for him because he couldn't spell Virginia or senator in the court filings. And I guess there's numerous other misspelled words in there. He's getting dragged on social media for it. But, once again, you guys couldn't even run like spell check on this document before you sent it out. Are you too good for that? Just too lazy? Or are you just too
Yeah.
stupid?
I think
Which is
part
it?
of it's our I think part of it's our fault. We're not voting these people out. We are allowing these people to be voted in. And it all comes back to Republicans banding together, doing the right thing, not getting complacent and not getting comfortable, because people like that running our country is the reason we're $33 trillion, or probably more now, trillions of
38,
dollars in debt.
39 trillion in debt, by the way.
Yep. Even better. And see, that's the kind of leadership in the Democratic Party that ruins everything. And we also have some bad Republicans that side with the Democrats and everything because they want to go to a cocktail party and not have the New York Times roast them or write something and be able to shake their hands, rub their elbows, and kiss the babies. And we need to get rid of that culture. We need absolute savages and fighters.
Yeah, we should be treating these people like they're our enemies in the media because they are. They are adversarial. They are destroying our country. They are there to create a narrative for the uniparty, for the left, for the Democrats. They are not there to do their job and shine the light on all the corruption, expose the evildoers behind the scenes. Nope, they're there to cover that shit up. Well, I got more bad news for you guys in Virginia before we jump to our main topic. Governor Abigail Spanberger considers new tax on gym memberships. This is after, their salary increases, all the other tax increases that they've implemented. And I meant to go back and look at my notes because I'm pretty sure you guys in Virginia are also the ones that have the new mileage-based gas tax, or maybe they haven't implemented it yet. Maybe that's on the horizon where you guys are looking at $4,000+ per year just to file your car's registration if you're driving the average number of miles for a U.S. vehicle owner. Well, guys, you're getting what you paid for. You guys voted for Spanberger, and she's going to make your lives hell for the next 4 years. I mean, luckily, they only allow governors one term in Virginia. And obviously, there's zero chance you guys are going to be recalling her or impeaching her or anything else since they control every house right now. And guys, it gets even worse with the redistricting. I should have saved this slide. Sorry, I'm going a little off our topic here for a second, but guys, when the Virginia Supreme Court shot down their challenge, or they wanted to kind of push the map forward, guess what the legislature in Virginia and Spanberger came together to decide? Well, they're going to lower the age on Supreme Court justices in Virginia to 54, because that's, I guess, the age of the youngest member of the court. And they're going to eliminate everybody sitting, replace it all with a bunch of rubber stamp Democrats, socialists, I guess DSAs, really. So when they don't get what they want, they change the rules. However, there's people on the right flipping out about this, but this will be through the process. This isn't going to be unconstitutional if they do it this way. If they get the House, the Senate, and the governor, two branches of government, two co-equal branches, that's your checks and balances on the judicial branch. Doesn't matter if it's corrupt, they will be following the process. If they pass this rule, eliminate the Supreme Court, then they will be able to appoint whoever they want.
Why don't we
and
do
then
it
it
too?
will be
That's my
constitutional.
question.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think
It's
that kind of
simple.
thing.
The Democrats gave us their playbook. They showed us how to win. They show us how to play dirty. Copy and paste. Copy and paste. It makes no sense.
I mean, this is the thing. There's no states we could really do this in right now or make an impact. Because we already, in the states that we control, we should already be able to redistrict and fight back. It's just up to the rhinos. I mean, they're the problem. They're the ones blocking us in South Carolina right now. They were the ones blocking us in Utah, and other states right now. I'm sure that's part of the holdup in Georgia. Is you have too many Democrats masquerading as Republicans. We'll call them trans Republicans because they tell everybody they're Republican, but they're really a Democrat underneath. There's just too many of those. Undocumented Democrats, trans Republicans, whatever you want to call them, rhinos. But they are the bane of our existence. But again, we have nobody to blame for that but ourselves. Why is there never a real effort to primary these people and get them out? I mean, partially that's because the Uniparty, they want their rhinos in there so they can pull them out, have them sabotage more conservative legislation that's coming through, or anything that would actually fix the country, expose their grift, or anything else. Yeah, Virginia, you guys have a lot going there between the gym tax and your brand new court.
Good luck.
Yeah. Well, again, they're getting what they voted for, so I hope they're happy. But now, finally, we'll get into the main stories we had set up for today, and that's the deep state. They are still entrenched in D.C. Nothing's being done about it, and even John Brennan is out there telling us all about it. John Brennan admits there is a legion of deep state operatives at the DOJ and CIA resisting Trump's orders. We have more confirmation of that from James O'Keefe. We'll get to that in a minute. But why is this guy not in jail? It's been teased out 9 times now that grand juries in Florida are getting ready to drop an indictment on John Brennan. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. That we've been hearing that since it was either June or July now. I'm pretty sure it was July on Brennan.
We've been hearing that for everybody. We're not stepping up. We're not holding
No.
anybody accountable. There's people spending 30, 40, 50. Look at what happened to the J6ers for walking into the Capitol, which was mainly, implemented by a lot of undercover Antifa and led in by our law enforcement. These people
It was,
lost their whole lives, got their lives wrecked. Look what happened to Derek Evans. That's just to
yeah.
name a few. Their lives were torn apart for doing 1/10 of what these people did.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, for most of the people that walked into the Capitol, even, it was basically an unscheduled guided tour. They weren't going through smashing things or destroying things. By and large, you had a few people, probably Antifa or government operatives, that smashed some windows and other things, started some fights outside. My brain is not working this evening. It's been a long day. But by and large, you did not have a mob of violent people like you do at, say, a BLM protest, a riot. And guys, guess what? We're going to have more of that. The Summer of Love, that will be happening this summer. These blue-haired moonbats and degenerate wine moms have already been out there chasing down ICE agents, harassing people in the streets, attacking people on the right, and nothing's done about it by and large. Unless you actually murder somebody, maybe fracture somebody's skull. In most of these blue cities, their police are just not going to do anything. I mean, they probably wouldn't for a skull fracture even. You guys really know that up there in Illinois, where you're basically just you're left out. You're left high and dry. They do not care. They are there to support their political operatives in masks and Antifa and ICE Watch and the rest of these groups. The police there are not there to protect and defend you. They are there to protect their allies on the left.
Look what happened to
They have
Emily
been
Cahill,
weaponized.
Terry Newsom's friend. Emily.
Yeah.
She got jumped. She got her hair torn out. Emily's one of the nicest people I've ever met. She holds up a sign that says, "I support ICE." And they pulled her hair out. They bloodied her up. They jumped her. Terry walks over to a police officer, tells him the guy can see she's bleeding and she's been injured, rolls the window up and doesn't do a thing about it.
Drives away.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I teased this a minute ago, but here from James O'Keefe. Breaking: 2 high-level White House insiders caught on undercover video bragging about internal subversion against President Trump. One placed on leave. So let me scroll down here on my phone. Sorry, guys. So we have Maxim Lott, special assistant to President Trump on the White House Domestic Policy Council, admitted to OMG undercover journalists that domestic policy decisions are often made based on what feels like a good idea. In theory, everything would sort of come from the president, but it might come from a lower level, the level below him. Benjamin Ellison, a budget analyst manager within the executive office, said, "We have to get rid of Trump. He's effing it up for everybody. We've got to get him out." So essentially, they in these filings or in these recordings, they're admitting that they are undermining him. They're trying to subvert Trump's will, and thus therefore subvert the will of the American people. Now, one of the two has been terminated, brought out. But again, if these are the mentality of the people surrounding the president, it really makes you wonder when you have multiple assassination attempts, and these guys just they get this close every time. It really is a cabal in D.C. that is not there to do their job and to serve the country and serve the president, regardless of who they are. That they are there to move forward their political agenda, and their actions prove this. So these people all need to go. And again, this is why we need to gut the DOJ and the FBI and other institutions. We need to fire all the people that are there to subvert the will of the people and potentially are going to get Trump killed. So, guys, this isn't a joke. If you're there in one of these positions right now or any department in the federal government, we have to get rid of these cancers that are in there or the patient won't survive. The United States will not be a country anymore if we don't do something about this.
In some countries, this would be considered sedition, espionage. You'd be put to death for something like this. I'm not saying the guy should be put to death, but look at the people we have surrounding our. Yeah, it's treason in my opinion. And look at the people surrounding the president. He is one of many. And sometimes Republicans are a little hard on him and say, "Hey, he's not getting done everything he said he would get done." How do you get done when you have a snake at every stop? It's hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, I blame them for that too. You've had over a year to clear these people out. And I know that judges get in the way and they interfere every time you try to fire anybody. And then they have the government unions and everything else. But when you have direct proof of subversion like this, That doesn't matter. This is a person that can't do their job, and especially if they're in violation of the law. But this is another problem too: is we keep treating these people when we catch them with kid gloves, where they're getting little to no prison time. We are cutting deals. We need to end that. You need to make them actually face the full wrath from the
When
courts.
we do something wrong, they throw the book at us,
Yes,
and
we're
they commit murder. Look at it. I don't know the last time we've tried to assassinate a Democratic candidate or somebody on the left. They
hasn't
killed
happened.
Charlie Kirk. They tried to kill Trump. They attack our law enforcement. Like, these are lunatics, and you got the people at the top who should also be held accountable, who make this culture and make it okay for them to be doing these things.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it isn't just in the White House. It isn't just at the CIA and the intel agencies, as Brennan said. It's everywhere, and it has to end. I know that most of the population there in D.C. Votes Democrats. They're a bunch of socialists. They're a bunch of DSA, uh, can't, and but we continue to tolerate it. That's the real
Yep.
underlying problem. We know who the enemies are. I guarantee you they know who most of the problems are at the infrastructure within government, but you have to actually act. I don't care how nice this person is, or if you want to hang out with them on the weekends or whatever. Again, you're there to do a job. I'm out of sympathy for these people, because this isn't like one or two people popping up they missed that we've always got to play whack-a-mole with, because that's
Yep.
always going to be the case in DC, just because of the level of corruption there. But I mean, these are, once again, unforced errors, losses that we shouldn't
Yep.
be taking.
These
And
are.
it is our fault.
I see so many videos, especially with O'Keefe Media, and it's crazy. People are coming out of the woodwork trying to betray the president, trying to stop what he's doing. This was a duly elected president by the people of the United States. The people want Donald Trump, want his policies and what he ran on, and for them to try to stop what he's doing after he won, that's bad in itself. Forget he's like, we need to get rid of him. He's ruining it for everyone. Those kind of people do not need to be in our government. Those are dangerous people.
Yeah.
Those are very dangerous people. You saw what he did. He took his badge out like he was bragging to the girl. Look what I do. Oh yeah, I'm going against the president. You know, it's an ego thing too, and unfortunately, power attracts really bad people.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it gets, once again, there's always another layer to the onion. Active CIA whistleblower, blah, 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 blah. Try that again. Active CIA whistleblower set to blow lid off deep state COVID-19 cover-up and explosive Senate testimony tomorrow. Senator Rand Paul reveals intel community knew about the lab leak and origins for years, while American taxpayers funded the Wuhan lab research. Again, this isn't a surprise, but this is confirmation of what we've already known, or more confirmation, really, at this point. But it's got to be somebody besides Rand Paul. We need more people actually taking a stand, doing something about this. And this is part of the problem. Is I really do think most air quotes Republicans, they don't want to actually take it to their real political enemies. They're afraid that they'll be seen as mean or nasty. They won't be able to hang out at the cocktail parties. They won't get the fawning interviews at CNN and MSDNC or anywhere else.
That headline needs to read. That headline needs to read. We already know this. That headline should read: Fauci arrested for crimes against humanity and starting a national pandemic. And everybody else that had anything to do with it, Pfizer, everyone. People should be more angry, and I think we're just kind of desensitized to the corruption. I think we're desensitized to the fraud. I think we're desensitized from stuff like the Epstein files. It's a pretty dark time in this country right now, and we have a chance to turn it around. For the first time in a long time, we have a chance. But if we can't arrest somebody for crimes against humanity who helped release a virus on purpose to profit big pharma and kill people, then what are we going to do? We got nothing.
Well, Fauci does have immunity, but why is that? It's because we never pursued the Biden auto pen pardons. And we started to, then we dropped it. Harmeet Dillon, we need a real explanation for that. Why did you drop the investigation into the Biden auto pen scandal? Because we and that's not even the tip of the iceberg there. I mean, we have evidence that Jill Biden was writing pardons and then using her corpse husband's auto pen to write them in. We know that Kamala Harris appears to have been involved in selling pardons to another number of career criminals that then their families or associates made donations to her, to the DNC. Sorry, go ahead.
No, this is all public information, and don't take our word for it. I mean, these are the same people that drugged this man up to where he was incoherent, shouldn't have even been president. And then when they went to run him again, they decided, no, you're not going to run. And he wanted to run again, and they took away the constitutional primary and just gave it to Kamala Harris and made her the front runner. I mean, they will stop at nothing, and they thought it would work.
These people are soulless. Speaking of soulless, we're going to move over to renowned Ukrainian energy expert and first crackhead Hunter Biden. Grassley releases records showing Biden DOJ possessed text messages from Hunter Biden indicating human trafficking violations. And of course, once again, they turned a blind eye. It's good when the deep state likes you because they will cover up your crimes no matter how heinous they are. Now,
wasn't this the crackhead who was caught smoking crack on video all these times, getting millions of dollars from Burisma while his dad was vice president?
Oh yeah. Well, you know, he was. Those were documentary crackhead videos. I don't know if this guy was walking around with like 3 GoPros strapped to him at all times. But yeah, these are all videos he created. It's not even like the FBI or anybody was spying on him. He was recording this stuff for himself. You know, videos of him smoking crack, yeah, with banging prostitutes, many of which appear to be underage. And this is just him documenting, I guess, for posterity. I don't know why else you'd want these videos, but maybe he was going to blackmail himself somehow. I don't know.
Yep. You never know when you're doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, you know, once again, why was this not prosecuted at the time it was happening? Why once again did we sit and hide this? You know, Hunter Biden's never going to face justice for all the crimes that he committed. If you guys think he is, you know, I've got a bridge to sell you. But it's become very, very obvious. This guy will never face justice. Whereas if you're on the right, if you're whoever, you better not make any mistakes. They will be after you instantaneously. Especially if you're right of the uniparty, which is probably pretty much everybody. But once again, we live under this multi-tiered justice system. This has to end. I don't care if this is first crackhead Hunter Biden's laptop or not, or if he left it there or not. At this point, he's already shown he's a problem. He can't be trusted. He wants to line his own pockets. I mean, let's not forget he's in a lawsuit right now with an insurance company because all his snot bubble paintings apparently got burned down in a house he wasn't paying rent for in California, which there's another suit there. But apparently he thinks the value of his paintings was something like $500,000. I respectfully disagree.
Yeah. No, and this is the culture we continue to see. Like, if someone that's done what Hunter Biden's done doesn't go to jail, what can we expect for everybody else? And there's a lot worse than him. He might be one of the dumbest ones that has done a lot of bad things.
Oh yeah, he's just part of the right family. He's a grifter. He's there to sell the Biden name, or was there to sell the Biden name, and to peddle influence. Make no mistake. I mean, that's why Biden wrote his pardon for Hunter back so many years, to clear him of all criminal wrongdoing. And he's the only pardon that Biden actually signs. As far as I'm concerned, like it or not, that's the only one that's legitimate. But that also means we can force him to testify, and he can't lie. He can't take the Fifth Amendment because it no longer matters. You can't be prosecuted. So, but again, we have to have.
I remember we talked the other day about this. I think where it gets interesting is with all this fraud being exposed that the 2020 election was stolen, especially with what we're seeing out of Georgia and Arizona, would that de facto make all of his pardons go away if that was an illegitimate presidency?
That's a possibility, but we'll have to see that argued in court. I mean, I think it should. I think it should strip all his decisions, get rid of all his executive orders, even get rid of the legislation he signed into law, because he was never a valid president to begin with. But again, I don't think even our side has the stones for that. I wish they did, but I just don't see them doing that, having that level of courage.
No, I don't. And the only reason I say that is there is proof, there is files, I mean, Hunter Biden recorded himself talking about committing crimes. Joe Biden was recorded saying, "Hey, I'm going to tell Ukraine you're not getting that $1 billion unless this guy investigating's fired." It's little corruption like that, and they admit it on camera, and we still don't do anything about it. It's like, read the room, guys.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, we got one other topic to jump to here real quick, and that is Alabama AG announces civil investigations into Southern Poverty Law Center. alleging deceptive fundraising practices under state's consumer protection status. And again, this is ongoing. They were defrauding even their donors because they were the ones sponsoring the hate. But this is a tactic that they've used for decades, and not just them, the ADL and others, that they will fund some event in your area to scare everybody, and then they will come in afterwards, just make out like bandits. I mean, that's really the sick, pathetic part. Is it's no longer about doing the right thing for your constituents, for anybody else. That it's all about either posturing and positioning for future elections, or again, it's just these disgusting lies that come out to try to paint their opposition as something that they aren't. And I don't know what you do, again, to actually get the left to behave in a more civil manner. I just think it's beyond them at this point.
I'm shocked that if people on the right were acting like the Democrats, I'd be like, hey, maybe I should change my mind a little bit. Look at it. Perfect example, Eric Swalwell championed himself as a supporter of women. Always stood up for women's rights, and now he's one of the biggest predators we've ever seen. And it's all BS, and we see this over and over and over again, and they just don't care. They don't.
Well, I mean, it's par for the course for Democrats. If anything, it's a resume enhancer. I mean, look at Gavin, bang your best friend's wife, Newsom. And I don't think most people realize how disgusting the story with Newsom is. He had the friend of his doing a stump speech for him somewhere while he was banging his wife. He set that up, had this guy speaking on his behalf I think it was at a donor event. I could be wrong about that. It may have been a smaller event of some kind, but that's when he went to bang this guy's wife, when he knew he'd be out of the house, doing him a favor, stumping for him at an event when he was running for governor of California. That's who this guy is. He looks like a greasy used car salesman that you can't trust, because that is what he is. He is a political animal.
He looks like the Antichrist, and that's not to go out. If you remember in the debate with DeSantis and Newsom, DeSantis was like, actually, I ran into your in-laws, and even Newsom's in-laws was like, hey, we love Florida. He's a terrible governor. You're a great governor. So, I mean, what's that tell you right there, if your own in-laws?
Yeah. Don't like you. Yeah. Tim Walz had the same problem. He had a bunch of relatives that were waltzes for Trump. They're, were one of them. Was it them or was it a different family? They had this might not have been the Walz family. I was going to say they had a sign saying we're not all crazy, but I think that was actually somebody else's family. But we were late, so we're kind of running behind, but let's try to sneak in just a couple other stories here real quick, because this is crazy. Georgia data center drains 30 million gallons of water, leaving local residents high and dry. And this is becoming a real concern in a lot of places. And actually, I'll go ahead and pull our next headline on data centers real quick, and we'll just discuss them both. We'll get to that in a second. Sure. I went too far. Massive Utah data center to generate and consume more electricity than the entire state. So this isn't just a data center. This is what they're calling a data center cluster. I guess it's a bunch of them out there, and they are building some power plants. But what's insane about this is this data center cluster is actually going to consume more electricity by itself than every resident in every business in Utah. This one data center cluster. And we're wondering right now, we cannot build power plants fast enough, whether they're coal, nuclear, or whatever, especially with this.
Who's going to pay for that?
Well, honestly, I think these companies, the AI companies, need to be paying for their own power plants. But right now, what we have happening, including down in some places in Florida and here in Ohio, is you have residents that live in the states subsidizing the creation of a lot of these data centers. And then your local elected officials, they're making bank on this too. They're lining their own pockets. That doesn't mean it's universally, but they're basically trying to steal what they can from the treasury before everything burns to the ground. But we got some real concerns here with the data centers, with water, with electricity. I mean, right now, guys, it's not Lake Mead. I always forget the name. I think it's Lake Powell, but sorry if I'm wrong. It's the lake that feeds into Lake Mead before Hoover Dam. Right now, the water level is so low in Lake Mead, they may have to shut down electrical generation at the Hoover Dam soon. And they provide electricity for 25 million people. So I don't know what we're going to do if that happens, but you guys better be out there doing the freaking rain dance at night hoping it starts raining in Nevada and refills these lakes. And in Colorado, same thing. I know you guys have all been in a drought, but you better be out there doing the rain dance or something to get some water to refill these things. If we lose Hoover Dam, we're no longer generating that much electricity. I don't know what you guys are going to do out in California and other places where this is going to affect. You guys are just totally screwed. If this thing shuts down, there is no way to make up that gap immediately. Of course, they're going to blame Trump for it somehow. They'll be creative. They'll find a way that this is his fault too. If that happens, they'll say, the rain was just afraid of Orange Hitler, and that's why they and that's why we're having the drought. You'll get some or they'll blame global warming or climate change or whatever they're calling it now. But we have to do something about these data centers. Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. And these are the same people that claim to hate the rich and powerful, and here they are supporting the very people that are corrupted enough to get these data centers into our communities. And it's not even about, like, it is about drying up the lakes and taking resources, but it's also about raised energy bills, raised water bills. Who's going to foot the bill? Is it going to be an unconstitutional tax? They'll find a way to make you pay for it, and a data center helps nobody. It might create a couple of jobs or a couple hundred jobs for a couple of months, but beyond that, what you have to do maintenance on it, and that's it. So it's not worth it.
Well, yeah, and again, it's not like we shouldn't have some of these data centers, but you have to build the infrastructure, and you can't be passing the electrical costs on to the locals that live in the area, because there's several states doing this. Here in Ohio, around where some of these data centers are being built, people have already seen their costs more double for utilities, because their electric bills have gone from $500 to $1,000. In a lot of areas, they're going to be very concerned about water, like what just happened in Georgia. So again, this is an issue we got to get out ahead of it. I mean, it's good again that these are being built, and during the construction phase there may be a few thousand people or over 1,000 people working on each site, because a lot of these facilities are over 1 million square feet. But once the data center is done, like you said, Noah, they don't need that many people. They're going to have a few technicians. They're going to have a few programmers. They're going to have troubleshooters that are there that can install new GPUs and do other things that they need to do at the data center. But that's going to be a very small number that are high income earners there. Otherwise, it's going to be security. It's going to be building maintenance. They'll probably try to get illegal aliens to do it for less than money than it would cost for an American to do it. But once again, this is who they are. This is what they prioritize. And we've got to find our testicles and start stopping this.
Yeah, and I wonder when people are going to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. They give all our money to illegals. They let illegal savages into our country that kills our citizens. They raise taxes on us. They make it hard to pay grocery bills. They make it hard to be able to fill your truck or car up. America shouldn't live like that. We are a wealthy country. We have some of the best culture, food, just everything in the world, and we should be the best, and there's no reason our citizens should have to live like this. Some of our citizens live, some of the illegals live 10 times better than our own citizens. It's so
we're subsidizing it.
Yep.
Yeah, we're subsidizing the destruction of our own country right now, paying out massive amounts in welfare benefits. Let me see if I can find the statistic for you guys here real quick, because I just saw this earlier today. Now, I have not been able to verify all their sources on this, but even if it's off by a point or two, I believe these numbers more or less. Sorry, 1 second here. Okay, 43% of all food stamps are given to illegal aliens. 95% of warrants issued for murder in Los Angeles are for illegals. Sorry, this is a resident of Los Angeles sent me this earlier. Somebody that watches the Insurrection in the Morning. So shout out to you. Less than 2% of illegals are picking crops, but 41% are on welfare. More than 66% of all births in California are to illegals on Medi-Cal. 60% of HUD-occupied properties in the U.S. are filled with illegal aliens. 39% of all California students are illegals. 75% of Los Angeles most wanted criminals are illegals. Sorry, I scrolled off this again.
Yep.
50% of all gang members are illegals, and the U.S. taxpayer is on the hook for all of it.
Send them all back to Mexico. Go.
Yeah, let Mexico deal with it. That's a good idea. All the ones that came over the border there, it can be their problem.
Yep.
I did see in Mexico City, they're right now doing an immigration sweep. They're cracking down on illegals within their own borders, but they couldn't care less about all their
Yep.
citizens here in the U.S. and all the
We
others
can't.
that traveled through the country, traveled through Mexico, rode the death train up, and then crossed the border illegally. Well, you guys laughed all the way to the bank. Well, it's consequence time now, boys.
Yep, and we can't take any more of it. We can't take any more people. I mean, we already have around 20 million illegal immigrants here. I mean, and the taxpayers are footing the bill. And
Yep.
just so voters understand, look at someone like Brandon Johnson and JB Pritzker in Chicago, who claim to love the black community and are all about equality. They get in a suit and tie, they lie to you, they tell you what they want to hear so they can get your vote. They gave $2.5 billion that should have went to people in inner cities and projects and infrastructure, and gave it to illegals to put them up in nice hotels, to give them Medicaid, to give them food stamps. It's ridiculous. They use and
Look,
abuse you guys, and you guys don't see it. You guys got to wake up.
yeah, they don't care. Their new constituency class is the illegal aliens. That's who they're catering to. You guys in Illinois definitely know this, that they're using that to prop up their numbers, their residency numbers, to gain more illicit power. They have extra seats right now in Congress that they shouldn't have, which means they have extra electoral vote power. Again, we got to start fighting to win. It can't matter what kind of mean names they call you. All right, guys, we got one last story I want to sneak in here before we wrap up, because I want to try to end on some good news here. Putin says Ukraine war might be coming to an end. Well, he had some talks the other day for a temporary ceasefire. I believe it was 3 days while Russia does their military parade. And they actually got an agreement in place. We'll see if Zelensky sticks to it. But Putin did not seem too hopeful going into this meeting, but he came out. He did say, it looks like there's a framework here. There's a path towards peace. Zelensky is still out there running his mouth saying it'll never happen. But at this point, I think he's largely irrelevant and should be in jail. He's got another one of his friends, advisors, right now being charged with more money laundering. But we know that there's already 2 people from his administration that stole money out of the funds for the U.S. And they both ran off to Israel with it, and Israel doesn't extradite. So, it's upside down and backwards. But this is one of the things that Trump ran on, was ending the war in Ukraine. And this is one, that hasn't happened yet, but I will still give him points for it, because I think the entire globalist movement and most of the Democrats have been working against this behind his back for a long time. Like, we know, well, in front of his back too, right in front of his face too. But we know this stuff's been going on, that they've weaponized the courts, that they care more about sending money to Ukraine so their kids can take these cushy jobs with Burisma and other places. But again, you got to have the will to act. But it is good that it looks like hostilities there may be ending. I'm sure the Eurocrats over there are going to lose their minds over this. But at this point, we got to get... What's that?
Oh, sorry. No, I was going to say, Zelensky knows as soon as this war ends, he is a dead man. He's not gonna survive. And also, we have the best president in the world, and luckily we have the greatest country in the United States too. And this wasn't an easy war to end. I mean, this is on the same magnitude of Iran and Israel. They've hated each other for a long time. They're going to continue to hate each other. And Trump's the one guy that could have got a deal done like this. And go back to 2020, Putin would have never invaded if Trump would have been president. This all goes back to Democrats and all the money laundering. There's kickbacks coming back from Ukraine. They're not using the money for war, and if they are, they're using a lot of our equipment. They're buying beach houses like Zelensky, and it's ridiculous. And $200 billion. I think it's more now.
It's over 400.
Bill for. It's not our war. Let them duke it out.
I think officially, I think it's a little over 4 trillion or just under 4 trillion that we've given Ukraine. But I bet it's more than that once we calculate everything, because some of it's probably going to have been humanitarian aid or whatever. But yeah, we've got to get whatever money was grifted, stolen. You're right. Zelensky's going to flee. He's going to live out in a beach house, out in California, up in the Hollywood Hills, or one of the other houses that he's purchased while he was president there. He's going to flee. Nothing's going to happen to him. And then we're all just supposed to forget about it and let it go away.
No,
it's just not working anymore.
Need to say, you owe us. You owe us. We
Yeah,
funded this war. We bankrolled it. We need our money back somehow, some way, because it's not even going to affect our generation, our kids' generation, their kids. They're going to be footing the bill for that, like we have, because they waste our money on stupid stuff on wars. Why go to
exactly.
war unless we're being attacked? They're not doing a Normandy invasion in the United States like D-Day.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole thing with Russia and Ukraine, that's a little more complicated. In some ways, we're responsible there too. We facilitated a few revolutions there going back just a few years, going back to the Obamas. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the whole thing's a mess. But no, I want to thank you for joining us today here on Behind Enemy Lines. Like I said, guys, Terry will be back this Thursday. I think we've got a special guest lined up already there. But guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Help us to grow so we can bring more people to news the mainstream media doesn't want you to